Yes, feedback, we did it. Increasing data reliability means, look, here we were talking about, we use both, we can use both dendrochronology and feedback dating to confirm the radiocarbon dating, right? For example, we can date wood or peat box samples known ages from radiocarbon measurement remains and using the pollen grains. The given indication of the climatic conditions at that time means, in last class we discussed that, do you know that what is the radiocarbon dating? Have you any idea about this one?
What, sir? Radiocarbon dating?
Right, right. Any idea? Or simply what is the carbon dating?
Process of calculating age of any organic compound
Right? How? What is the basis for that?
with with the help of C14 isotope of
Right, right,
carbon.
right. And the half life of C14 is 5900 year approximately. Right. So
5900 years, right?
right. Yeah. Right. So with the help of carbon dating, we come to know what is the age of that particular wood sample or that particular pollen sample or that particular uh, peat bog, right? Because they all are carbon compound, right? So with the help of this carbon dating, along with dendrochronology and uh, this one peat bog sample, right? So along with that, we also confirm the data. We come to know with the help of that peat bog, with the help of that dendrochronology, we come to know what is the age of particular fossil or what is the age of particular duration, right? Then we confirm it with the help of radiocarbon. So that's what it is mentioned. So when we reconfirm it with the help of carbon dating, then with the help with this confirmation, the data become more and more reliable. So that is the increasing data reliability. Got it?
Sir, I'm finding it hard to understand you.
Okay. Let's
Your voice is
let's take an
breaking.
example. Let's take an example. Look, for example, so the topic is that. hmm, Look, so what we are trying to know, why we are using
Sir,
the,
your voice is breaking.
my voice is breaking. My data is working properly. It's fine. So, are you using this mobile data?
What?
Are you using mobile data?
No, no, no. Not
Okay.
mobile data.
Okay, because I'm also using the lane connection. So, and it's very good with the speed. So, is it clear now? Is it clear
Yes,
now?
yes.
Okay. At your end, downloading is slow, please. So that's why now, because video consume more and more data. So look, try to understand. No issue. I'll switch off the video. So why we are using these techniques? What is the reason behind it using these techniques? Why we are doing all this? Come on.
Why we are doing radiocarbon dating?
Why we are you doing dendrochronology, dendroclimatology? Why we are using peat bog and all that?
Uh, to find out the age.
Right, to get the age. Right. So, for sake of example, just a minute. Try to understand. For sake of example, you have find a peat coal, right? Peat coal. Fine. So this is the peat coal, right? This peat coal is made up of particular kind of the fern, right? We know that this fern used to be found 1 lakh years ago. Got it? So what is the age of this peat coal? Approximately 1 lakh years. Clear? Did you got that points?
What?
You
The
got
age
you
of
got
what? Peat bog?
right? Age of peat coal, right? So did you got that this is the
Sir,
age
I
of peat
still
coal?
can't hear you.
Still not getting?
Yeah, let me ask others to turn off the internet. I guess it's my issue.
Right, right.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now am I audible to you clearly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine. So look, Affaf, what I am saying, suppose that you want to know the age of a peat coal, right? Now you have taken the peat coal. Now, now you try to know, now you are trying to know that what is the composition of peat coal. Then you came to know that peat coal is made up of a particular kind of the fern, right? And this fern used to be found on the earth 1 lakh years ago, right? Then what is the age? What is the age of this peat coal? Approximately 1 lakh years. Clear?
Yeah.
Now I want to confirm, is it really 1 lakh year old? Then to confirm this age, because I already got to know my answer, that I was about to I want to know what is the age of peat coal, and with the help of the variety or with the help of the species of fern, I came to with the help of species of fern from which the peat coal is made up of, right? I came to know this is the 1 lakh year old, but I want to confirm it. Then what I will do? I will to reconfirm the data. I will do carbon dating using the C14. With the help of carbon dating, I have confirmed the age of this peat coal. Got it?
Uh-huh. But
Clear?
sir, is the age of C14 is 5900 years,
Look, half
and
life, half life,
the
half
half-life.
life,
Okay.
right? So look, half life of C14 is 15 and 5900 years. Clear?
Half-life, right?
Right. Half life. Right. Now, what happens? Suppose that you find a woman, human bone, right? Generally, generally in like in my and your bone, the percentage of carbon is 20 gram per kilogram or 20 milligram. Let's say this is just assumption, 20 milligram in just 1 kg of bone. Clear? This is the amount of C14 is found in our body, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
you have find a skeleton, that is very old skeleton of human. That human skeleton have a bone. Now you are trying to know what is the percentage of bone in that skeleton. So you came to know that percentage is only 5 milligram per kilogram. What happened with the rest one? It decay, right? So now I want to know what is the age of this skeleton. So look, half life of C14 is what is 5900 years. Clear? So
Yes.
when this skeleton person was alive, what should be the amount? 20 milligram per kg. Now
Yeah.
in next 5900 years, next 59 after his death, in next 5900 years, what will happen? It will become 10 gram. Clear?
Yeah.
Again after the again after the next 5900 years, it will become how much? 5 gram. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
So from
Yes.
20 gram to 5 gram, right, decay, how much time taken?
Um. Wait. Calculation isn't very good.
11,800 years,
Yeah,
right?
11,000.
So that is the age of this skeleton. You came to know
Yeah.
this technique is called carbon dating. Did you,
Okay.
did you got my point? How we calculate?
Yes.
That is
Yes.
the way to calculate the age of any old old wood, any old object which have the carbon composition. Or you can come to know the what is the age of any organic compound, any organic source. Clear?
Yeah. Clear.
Right. So that's how we have calculated the age of that peat coal. We have confirmed. Is it clear? Is it crystal clear to you or not? Tell me.
Yes. I was wondering. Um. Shouldn't we use dendroclimatology for
Yeah.
to
We use dendroclimatology for this one, but to confirm this, to confirm
okay,
dendroclimatology, is it
okay,
like, what is the authenticity of? I want to confirm it.
okay,
Then to confirm it, because radiocarbon dating never lies.
okay.
There may be error in the dendroclimatology. There may be error in this speed bog, this one, this method, but there will not be any error in radiocarbon. That is scientifically proved. Clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay. So let's go in next topic. Peat bog record that happens. Increasing data, we did it. Evidence of increasing level of carbon dioxide. Now, come to this one. The scientists have found evidence for increasing the level of carbon dioxide in atmosphere in many different ways. Some of the most famous evidences come from what we know the Keeling curve, a series of measurements which have been taken at a regular interval at Mauna Loa Observatory, Hawaii. This is the observatory which is present in Hawaii Island to calculate the different type of the climatic changes, right? Mauna Loa Observatory in Hawaii, right? The air sample continuously at the top of the 7-meter tall tower and hourly average of carbon dioxide concentration is taken, right? With the help of this technique, we came to know that the global warming is happening, and we have already discussed this point. Remember you, right? Affaf, do you remember
What
that global warming we
did
have checked from this technique by collecting the carbon dioxide concentration?
the C14 radiocarbon dating?
No. This one. That global warming, last chapter.
No, I don't remember because I was
Ah,
studying other things.
okay, no issue. Uh, recall all those points. Keep on revision, right? Keep on revising.
Yeah,
So,
I have a lot to revise, sir.
a student always have lots of subject to revise, but we need to try to do that, right?
No, I finished 5A completely. I was revising that.
Okay. Right. Okay. So, Mauna Loa Observatory on Hawaii, the air sample is continuously at the top of 7-meter tall towers, and hourly average of carbon dioxide concentration is taken. So they have a tower, right, in Hawaii Island in this observatory. This observatory is basically meant for calculating that climatic changes, right? So there are in Hawaii Island in this observatory there are 7-meter tall towers, right? And from these towers, at every hour, they calculate the concentration of carbon dioxide, right? The the air there is relatively free from local pollution, and scientists believe it is representative of the northern hemisphere, right? So scientists know that this represent the concentration of carbon dioxide in northern hemisphere, because local pollution is not present over there. Let's see, if I take the sample in Delhi, right, then the rest of the area of this country is really have very low concentration of carbon dioxide, but Delhi is highly polluted, right? So it won't be like, I won't be able to take the actual sample, right? So to take the actual sample, I have to move somewhere else. In the same way, Mauna Loa Observatory is in Hawaii Island. There is no local pollution, so there is not much more pollution over there, right? The air sample in continuously at the top of 7-meter tall towers, an hourly average of carbon dioxide concentration is taken, along with the number of other measures. The air there is relatively free from local pollutant, and scientists believe it represents the air of northern hemisphere. Measurement started in 1958. So they have started doing this practice from 1958. And the monitoring method and instrument used to have remained very similar. So they have kept the same kind of the monitoring um, uh, monitoring the objects, right? Monitoring systems, right? Remain very similar throughout the same time. The records show that the level of atmospheric carbon dioxide has increased 315.98 ppmv part per million by volume of dry air, right? In 1959 to 408.68 ppmv in 2018, right? So that's what the variation taken place. Almost 80 ppmv variation have taken, right? 80 ppmv amount of the carbon dioxide increase. The annual fluctuation of different in the fixation of carbon dioxide by the plant, as in the temperature of the region of the plant loses their leaves in winter and absorb the less carbon dioxide, right? Because of this pollution, the carbon dioxide concentration, right, plant loses their leaves in the winter. That's why the fixation of carbon dioxide also reduces. Did you got all those points?
Yes.
You have to remember the data, like how much increase and when we have started calculated and when we have ended with that, right? So you have to remember these underlined points. Let's move on the next point. So the ice core data also show the clear changes in carbon dioxide concentration. So the data taken from the low dome ice cores, this is an area practically pure, undisturbed ice in the Antarctic. The shape and curve is similar to the temperature curve, but it goes back much future time. Did you got this point or should I explain it?
Explain it.
Okay, so what they are using, like in Antarctic, what happened when the ice layer formation takes place? So carbon dioxide gets trapped between that ice layer. Like when we will drill, then the carbon level will be different in different ice, right? Different ice layers, right? The lower air will have less concentration of the carbon dioxide. The upper layer will have more carbon dioxide concentration, and that is the undisturbed area. So while drilling inside the ice and by checking the carbon dioxide trapped between the ice, the means the ice of different time. So by this way, measuring the carbon dioxide level or amount of the carbon dioxide in the different strata of the ice, we come to know how much the pollution or carbon dioxide concentration have increased. Got it? Did you
Not
got
really.
it? Okay. Suppose that in Antarctic there is a solid ice sheet, right? And that is 40 feet thick sheet. I started drilling at 48 feet. I taken the sample from the 48 feet, and I came to know the carbon dioxide concentration is 350 ppm, right? Then I have taken the sample from the 20 feet, then 10 feet, then 1 feet, right? From different level of the different from different high depth, I have taken the sample of ice. Then I came to know that the concentration of carbon dioxide at the 40 feet, that ice would have been formed million of years ago, right? Or maybe 100 years ago, right? Then 30 feet ice must be formed 75 or 60 years ago. Then
So the deeper I go, there is more or less carbon.
less carbon dioxide, because on that time
Okay.
the atmosphere was less polluted. Got it?
Yeah.
So by taking the different sample from different depth, from different time period, right?
Okay.
So we comes to know what is how the carbon dioxide concentration increased over the years. Now got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now global warming debate and correlation on the causation. Now here we will come to know what is the debate behind the global warming, right? And what is the its real cause. So look, now I want to tell you what is the debate in the carbon the debate in this pollution, increasing pollution, and in this issue, right? Actually, debate is that now the carbon dioxide global warming is increasing, carbon dioxide concentration is increasing everywhere across the world. Now, who is responsible for it? basically those countries are responsible for it, which are which are producing lots of product. Why? Because they are manufacturing a lot. To manufacture a lot, they require the more and more what energy. To get more and more energy, they have to burn the coal, diesel, and all that type of the fuels. When they will burn more fuel, there will be more pollution, right? So, who are basically responsible for the pollution in this world?
Humans.
No, no, no. Which country? Not humans. Yeah, maybe. Which
No,
country?
which country? You said America last time.
America, then
Then Europe.
less.
I don't know.
In Asia,
Asia?
which is the black, which is there in whole world, there are 3 or 4 countries, growing country, that are growing very speedily with the competition. They're increasing production capacity every year. They're trying to compete with each other. Who are those countries? Basically in Asia.
In
Europe
Asia?
is no,
I don't know. I don't
4 countries.
know.
Remember, there are 4 countries. First,
Okay.
China,
Yeah, China.
then
I
India.
was about to say that.
Yeah, first China, then India, then Brazil, then South Africa. There are 4 countries who are competing with each other. India and China are close rival to each other, right?
Okay.
Now the margin is very less. India is about to cross on the population, on the basis of population as well, on the basis of production as well. India is trying to compete with the China, right? Trying to defeat the China, and that's how we are doing. The
So
Chinese are doing
China,
the same.
India, Brazil, and
South Africa. They are
South Africa.
the
Okay.
most developing country. You must have listened the concept of developed country, developing
Yeah.
country, and listed.
Yeah.
So developed country, very true. America is the most responsible person or the responsible country for the polluting the world, right? And they have already done a lot, right? And basically, but that is a developed country. Now they have controlled that. So what America is saying, Americans have already polluted this world. America, Japan, some of the European countries, they have already polluted. Now they are the developed. Now what they want to say, they want these developing country to stop the pollution, which is practically not possible because developing country, these countries have lots of population, lots of the population. India and China only makes the half of population of world, right? 50% of
Mm-hmm.
the population is living in these 2 countries,
Okay.
right?
That's a lot.
Yeah. So, these developing country says that you need to curb down your emission and take the emission per capita emission, right? Not per country. Got it? They are
Mm-hmm.
saying that the carbon dioxide emission basis should be per capita, right? The amount to pollute the world should be per capita, not per country. Did you got that point?
Yeah.
Okay, but America is not agree in that. That is a dispute one, right? So by this way, we are polluting this world. Now come to this topic. So that is the discussion over here, and to curb down the pollution, carbon dioxide emission. Like, did you know that we are now uh, to curb the pollution? We are trying to stop the government is trying to curb down the diesel engines.
No, I didn't know that.
You know, Euro norms, BS norms.
Yeah.
Look, let me tell you example. In India, there are particular norms for vehicle norms, right? So nowadays, so that is BS1, BS2, that's what BS1, BS2, right? So that is norms which are running in India. BS3, BS means Bharat stage, right? These are the pollution norms, right? On the
Okay.
basis of these norms, now BS4, then BS5 is missing. Country have just jumped in the BS6, right?
Oh,
Now,
wow.
yes, in India today, what happened that in Delhi you cannot run any car which is older than 10 years. No way. If you are running, your car will be seized immediately. If you are
Older
passing with
than 10 years. Okay.
more than 10, if you are passing with that kind of the vehicle, which is not from the Delhi, it is out of a state, any another state. But if it's passing through the Delhi and it is more than 10 years, they will seize your vehicle anyhow,
Okay.
right? So they have started BS6 norms. So on the basis of that norms, many of the company have stopped because they are unable to make these kind of engines, right? So other than the big brands like Mercedes, BMW, and all that, most of the companies, the smaller companies have stopped making diesel vehicles, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's how we are trying to curb the carbon dioxide emission, right? So so what happened? Uh, the world government bodies, like WHO, United Nations, and all that, they have started raising this issue, and they have made some conferences. So, like you must have listened about the Kyoto Protocol. Listen that Earth Summit. No,
Art Summit?
right?
Um, is it the group of people that are asking others to cut down the use of
Exactly,
plastic and
exactly.
other things?
Right, right. Very good, very good.
Yeah.
So there are a group of the people. There is a meeting. There are a group of the people who are discussing how to reduce the carbon dioxide emission without harming the growth of the country. Right. That is the organization. Nowadays, more than 191 countries have participated in that summit, and every 2 year, in every 3 year, or every 5 year. So, or after every year, they meet at some point, and they discuss again that development, growth, and rules and regulation and all that. So those are the subjects. So that's what the discussion over here. Now there is a body, that is a international body. According to Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, this is the body which is made up of the people from different countries and bodies from the different countries, and they are working to reduce the greenhouse gases. Basically, they are meant for reducing the global warming, right? So what they are doing, atmospheric concentration of the carbon dioxide, methane, nitrogen oxide have increased to the level of not been seen for the last 8 lakh years. Now you can understand, right? So they have revealed this fact that atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide, methane, so what is carbon dioxide, methane, nitrogen oxide, have increased to levels that have not seen in least at least 8 lakh years, right? The carbon dioxide level have increased by 40% since pre-industrial time. This mainly result the burning of fossil fuel and partially change in the land uses and deforestation. The oceans absorb 30% of the emitted anthropogenic carbon dioxide. Do you know anthropogenic carbon dioxide?
Produced by people.
Right, produced by humans, right? So carbon dioxide, and this caused the increase in the ocean acidification, right? So they are increasing the uh, they are increasing the decreasing the pH value of ocean, right? A lot of evidences from many studies now suggest that a clear correlation between the rise in the level of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and increase the global temperature, right? However, the correlation is so close that it is difficult to decide whether increase in greenhouse gases are causing the increase in temperature or the result of rising temperatures increasing the greenhouse gases, right? So the correlation is that much close that it is difficult to tell that either greenhouse gases are responsible for increasing temperature or increasing temperature is responsible for emission of greenhouse gases. Clear? Got that point?
Um, a little bit confused.
Wow. Where is the confusion?
So they are finding it hard to understand whether it's being caused by large amounts of greenhouse gases or rise in temperature.
Sorry?
The correlation part.
Right. So correlation, like the data is that much close that it is really difficult to decide. That
Data between carbon dioxide and what?
no greenhouse gases emission and increasing temperature.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Fine. Fine. Uh, Next, the correlation is so close that it is difficult to, sorry. So let's move on the next one. So is it casual to say there is causal relationship between the rising carbon dioxide level and rising temperature? With associated climate change, we need the mechanism to explain how the factor changes to the other. There is a clear mechanism of greenhouse gases to raise the surface temperature of the earth through re-radiation. We understand how the natural greenhouse effect work. We know that we have already discussed that how the greenhouse gas like effect work. It seems logical to consider that humans are responsible for increasing the level of carbon dioxide in atmosphere and increase in the global temperature because temperature uh, because the timing of the both changes so closely linked. We understand how the natural greenhouse effect work. It seems too logical to consider that humans are responsible for increase in the level of both changes so closely linked. In the last 2 centuries, we have burned increasing quantity of the fossil fuel or energy to transport. More recently, we have burned the fossil fuel very large quantity to generate the electricity. That's what we were discussing a few minutes back. Every time we burn the fossil fuel, carbon dioxide is produced and released into the atmosphere. However, the scientists must look to the different theory. For example, some scientists have proposed a mechanism for the global warming based on the event on sun's surface. They suggested that there is a evidence that the solar activity affect the cloud formation and therefore the surface of temperature. Some data such as that seems to show much closer correlation between the solar activity and atmospheric temperature than between the carbon dioxide correlation and temperature. Means some of the scientists they are denying of this greenhouse effect kind of the concept, and that's what America is doing. Now America is saying that there is a no global warming. First, they started screaming there is a global warming, there is a greenhouse gases effect, and all that. Then when they came to know that they are the people who are responsible for this global warming basically, and they have to pay for it, then what they started screaming. Now they are started spreading a propaganda, and they have started uh, saying that no, their global warming is do not exist. Actually this is because of the ice age is going back. So that's how they are defending themselves. Got it?
Yes.
So however, after looking at all the evidences, IPCC reached the conclusion that support and solar flare activity for the past 50 years would probably have produced the cooling rather than warming. They decided that they decided that any influence these factor have global climate change is small. All these theory about the global warming and climate change are based on the data and require detailed interpretation and use of computer modeling to model every complex system. It is almost impossible to prove causal link. We cannot conduct the valid experiment on the atmosphere of our planet, but every studies on different aspect of the global warming using a wide variety of the different computer models, suggestions, and same thing. They have looked events ranging from the polar ice melting to climate change at the different region of the world. All the studies suggest that increase in the atmospheric carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases increase in the surface temperature. So in the nutshell, we can say that the IPCC is saying that yes, increase in the greenhouse gases increasing the global temperature, right? Means
Okay.
that is
So
responsible
it's
for
not the
cooling.
other way around, right?
No, no, not at all, not at all. Basically, this is the only concept, and the majority of the scientists across the world, they have accepted this, and they have realized that this is the chlorofluorocarbon and all that, they are responsible for the global warming and only. And even that the pollution is responsible for basically the average temperature of the
Yeah,
planet, right? Even you can realize that those cities which are more polluted, the average temperature is more over there, and those
yeah,
cities where the pollution is less, then average temperature is less. You must have realized this thing, right? So that's what the IPCC accept. Okay, so what is the next? All these studies suggest that increasing atmospheric carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, they are responsible for the least some of the current global warming. In 2007, IPCC looked the data and models of the climate change presented by the scientists from all around the world. They show that the anthropogenic carbon dioxide level increased by 80% between 1970 and 2004. Right? Means in last 3 decades. Many, and due to the fossil fuel. So, and we come to know that recently the fossil fuel have been used for the electricity production. Finally
sir.
decided,
If they stop using fossil fuels, how will they make electricity?
yeah, like we are using the solar panels,
Yeah. Okay.
right? So government is using the solar panel. You must have seen that solar panel.
Yeah.
This concept is spreading, is and the use of EV cars. What is the what is what is the you know what is the biggest challenge? The biggest challenge is that uh, the biggest challenge is that uh, uh, nowadays that the vehicles and all that, they are changing to EV. They are switching from diesel, petrol to EV, and this thing, and in next 20 years, uh, will be least reliable on the diesel and petrol fossil fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And the most challenging thing is that the day we will not be dependent on the fossil fuel, the currency of the Arabian country will go down, definitely. It is
Oh,
not bad.
well, okay.
That is the biggest challenge nowadays. That many of the Arabian country, this currency, this is stronger than the dollar as well,
Yeah.
costlier than dollar, right? But across the world, only dollar is acceptable, because the dollar is backed by, means American currency is backed by the their business, not from, and this oil exploding country, their currency is backed by only oil. So till the day oil is, they are selling the oil, their currency is strong. The day their sale will reduce, their currency will become. That is also a challenging future.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere, every country is promoting the EV, electrical vehicle, and battery, solar panel, means. So fossil fuel, there is substitution of fossil fuel, right? Even hydrogen is also the optional fuel. Alcohol, ethanol is also an optional fuel. That's what we are doing. Okay, so what is the next? Finally decided that the balance between the evidences shows that 95% probability that human activity is resulting the build of the greenhouse gases, means 95%, this is the humans are responsible for greenhouse gases. What about the 5%? We have already discussed. We cannot stop the volcano, we cannot stop the paddy cropping and all that, right? Mud forming
Yeah.
and all that. These are out of our hand, right? So 95%, this is the human activity, and 5% is natural activities which are responsible for the global warming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Affaf, just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, IPCC use the language carefully designed and indicate how strongly the evidence backed up by hypothesis. They have decided that every likely that human activity have contributed to the rise in the sea level in second half of the 21st century, but only likely the activities have to be influenced the change in the wind and the weather pattern have been observed. The moment climate change and the environmental damage are occurring much faster than anyone imagined, it appears that some of the effect of the human influences on the global ecosystem through atmospheric changes cannot be reversed, right? There are certain activities which cannot be reversed, like the ozone hole. It's really very difficult to close that hole. The IPCC believe that it is sufficient evidence to show that there are causal link between the anthropogenic production of the greenhouse gases and the global warming. But it will almost certainly become obvious that this is the one of the several causes, right? Global warming is likely to be multifactorial, not only the single factor, it is dependent on the multiple factor. But with the anthropogenic greenhouse gases is playing a very significant role. Means the most important or still the prominent role is of human beings. Model of climatic change and their limitations. Means now what kind of the model they have told. So clear the topic we discussed.
Yes.
Okay. Now models of the climate change and their limitations. Means what are the models to reduce the greenhouse gases and what is their limitation. Scientists have developed the huge computer models in order to investigate the historical relationship between the carbon dioxide and climate change, especially relating the Earth's temperature. These models have been taken years to develop, and scientists are still refining them as now the researches shows how the different factors interact. Okay.
Okay.
Let me just Scientists have developed a huge computer models in order to investigate the historical relationship between carbon dioxide climate change, especially the rating the Earth's temperature. These models have taken years to develop, and scientists are still refining them. New research shows that how the different factors interact. There are many factors to consider: the rate of photosynthesis across the world, rate of carbon dioxide production by the natural causes, exchange of the carbon dioxide between atmosphere and oceans, the effect of changing temperature and all that. So scientists hope that by making the models to fit data from the past occurring possible, the models will provide the reasonable tools practicing the future. Means they are just trying to correlate the data and what is happening with that, and they are trying to put these all data in a single software, and with the help of those software, with the help of this large computer, they are trying to make a concept or hypothesis why the global warming is taking place. Got it?
Yes.
So first one is climate. So come to the climate change. uh, you show that the weather described in the state of atmosphere at particular time at particular place with regard to features such temperature, rainfall, humidity, level of wind. Climate is the mean weather pattern of area over the years. Rising temperature on the earth's atmosphere affect the weather and the rainfall pattern, and can also the long term changes in the climate. So it is dropping the impact on both weather as well as on climate. Clear? It is possible to link any one weather event to global warming. However, statistically, evidence suggests that there is an increase in the number of extreme weather event around the world, this does appear to be linked major rise in global warming. So there are sudden like tsunami. So what is tsunami? Tsunami is not climate change. This is a type of weather change. Suddenly, right? Large waves formation take. But what is the reason behind it? When you talk, that may be that the that may be because of global warming. That is quite possible because of global warming, right? Rainfall pattern are complex, but there seems to be the changing. That is also rainfall pattern, right? Rain like in many of the area, the amount of the rainfall that is decreasing. So what is that? That is global warming. That will lead to the drought. That is also impact of global warming. Rainfall pattern are complex, but they seems to be changing. For example, it have the number of years lower than experienced rainfall in Africa. In 2000, in 2013, around 200 million people, about 25% of the population of Africa, experienced high water stress. Right. So why? Because of global warming. Right. They predicted that the low rainfall pattern in the countries, then the years 2050 between 350 million to 650 million people, right? It is predicted. Now the government, now the IPC have predicted that the low rainfall pattern, if the low rainfall pattern continue, then by the year 2050, right, between 350 million and 600 million people in the Africa will be short of water for the crops and drinking, right? So shortage of water and water crisis is the next crisis which we will definitely will face in every country. In contrast, in some areas, rainfall have been higher than usual, extremely heavy. This lead to the flooding and which carries away the vital topsoil. We have already seen that clear increase in very heavy rain leading to this severe flooding in area of China, Pakistan, and India over the several years. Low-lying communities in the countries around the world threatened by rising of the sea level. So these are the impact of the global warming. That's what IPCC have. Now predicting future. So that was what is happening, right? So what is the impact of climate change? What's the impact on climate change? Whatever I have underlined, you have to underline that on your textbook, right? Are you doing that? Affaf?
What, sir?
Underline those area which I am underlining in your textbook.
Okay.
Keep on doing that. Predicting the future. We can extrapolate the data on greenhouse gases and use them in the models to make prediction about what will happen to the temperature and other aspect of the global climate change in future. We can use these extrapolations in other models to predict the long-term effect of increase in the temperature on the environment. These models can be very useful as long as have some evidences that their predictions are valid. So far, for example, the international group of scientists uh, uh, collected a monthly record of the rainfall measurement from the around the world from 1925 to 1999 as compared to what really happened to the various computer models predicted would happen as a result of global warming. They found that many of the changes they observed uh, corresponded to those predicted if the global warming was factor affected the climate change. This is one of the most uninteresting part of the biology and which is really very uh, it's It's a major chunk of your syllabus.
What, sir?
Actually, this is one of the most uninteresting part of the biology. These all part, and it is making a large, like it is covering a large area of your syllabus. So that is the irony. So now, what else? The protection. Scientists are using the models and more as they become the convinced of the reliability. For example, the IPCC is using some of the prediction shown in figure number C. This one. And what is this model? To happen, plan the international response of the problems of rising of the carbon dioxide level and the global warming. But there are many limitations with the best model. This is because of this become impossible to tell the exact impact of the carbon dioxide on global warming, and also impossible to predict the impact of the global warming uh, global
Sir, what's extrapolation?
sorry.
The word extrapolate.
uh, I mean, like extrapolate means that is the use of data. Extrapolation means the use of data for particular purpose. Got it? Then we use this term. Extrapolation means
User data for
to
particular.
reach, right, particular purpose, to reach some conclusion,
Okay.
right? Means suppose that what I say that should I take it the should I take the commerce, biology, or like maths? If I ask you, suppose that I am a student, I am asking you, what you will see? You will take the data of extra, like previous data, that how many the mathematician got success in country, biologist and commerce student. So you will calculate the data. On the basis of data, you will say that yes, the highest rate is of commerce, right? So you must go for the commerce, right? So what you did, you extrapolated the data. Got it?
Okay.
Where is it? In addition, the extrapolation of the past data cannot take into account unknown factor in the future, including how the current trend, the resource use, and the technologies may change. Right? Suppose that global warming is changes. And now the current data cannot decide that what will happen. For example, now you are taking the last 40-year data, and you are saying
Okay.
that in past 40 year the carbon dioxide concentration have increases approximately 80 ppm. That's what we studied. And now you are predicting on the basis of previous data in next 50 year this much carbon dioxide will increase, and because of this much carbon dioxide that much temperature will increase. You have predicted. Now what happened? Suddenly the role of the battery came, EV came, electric vehicle came, right? Now we are running the electric buses in local transport. We are running the electric trucks. We are running the electric vehicles. Gradually we will start using the electric things, EV things, that much that the role of the fossil fuel will reduce. Now you have said that the predicted that the carbon dioxide concentration will increase, but it becomes the reverse. The carbon dioxide concentration decreased dramatically. So on the basis of previous data you cannot predict it. Got it? That is the limitation. Did you got off my point or not? Affaf, did you got that point?
Half of it. I didn't get the last half.
Look, suppose that you are listening a news. A news is saying that today we are in 2020, right? So we are in 2020, 22, sorry, 22. So today today in 2022. So if we go 40 year back, means from 1980 to 2020, in these last 40 years, the carbon dioxide concentration have increased, right, 80 mm, right, ppm. Okay, the carbon dioxide concentration increase. Now you are saying that on this bit data we can predict in next 40 years, means in 2060 the carbon dioxide concentration is increased 40 ppm. So now today it is 400 ppm, right? Now you are saying that in next 60 year it will become double, means it should become 560 ppm. So you have predicted this carbon dioxide concentration on the basis of previous data. But what
Okay.
happened? Because how you have predicted? Because we are using the diesel, petrol, and all that. Now, what comes in 2023, in 2025, we have started completely. We have converted from diesel vehicle to electric vehicle. Now, what will happen? Will the carbon dioxide concentration increase? No. Now we are not using the diesel, petrol, so carbon dioxide concentration will not increase. What will happen? It will decrease.
Yeah.
So now your prediction got failed.
Okay.
That is the limitation of data. Got it?
That is the what?
That is the limitation of data.
Okay.
Limitation.
Okay.
Clear? Okay. So assuming that the models are reasonably accurate and assuming that the predictions of the temperature in the future based on the carbon dioxide emission are realistic, what effect might have? You can see the result of set of the models. So these are the model, different models given over there on the basis of graph that is represented that carbon dioxide emission. Risk of flooding, right? Now the next thing, impact of the global warming, risk of flooding. In 2002, 500 billion tons of ice broke away from the Antarctic Peninsula, eventually melted into sea. You know that why it is happening. The ice which is permanently frozen in North Pole and South Pole, now that is melting. Why? Why, Affaf? Why ice is melting?
Because there is an increase in temperature.
Right? Because
Because
yeah, there is increase.
the greenhouse gases are being produced
Exactly.
in very high amounts.
Right,
So
right.
that's
Because of
rising the temperature.
exactly. That's why. And if the ice will melt into water, what will happen? The sea level will increase, tsunami will come, right? The coastal
Yeah.
area will submerge, and many of the Iceland will go under the water.
Mm-hmm.
That will happen. So uh, that's what it is mentioned over here. In 2002, 500 billion tons of ice broke away from the Antarctic Peninsula and eventually melted into the sea. Antarctic temperature have increased by average 2.5 degrees centigrade in past 50 years. Right, only 2.5 degrees centigrade average temperature past 50 years. This is so that you have to underline.
What was the average before the 50 years?
It's not mentioned over here, but whatever the present time is, that is 2.5. That is less than 2.5. It will be in minus. It will be in minus.
Okay.
An extreme minus. It may be minus 40 even around. This is faster than anywhere else on the earth. Many scientists believe that the fact that the ice is becoming uh, Many scientists believe that the fact that the ice is becoming thinner, it is clear indication of global warming. The Antarctic ice contain around 70% of the world fresh water. Do you know that?
Yeah.
And how much fresh water is present in the groundwater?
10%? 2%?
Right, only 2%, 1 to 2%, not only exactly 2%, 1 to 2%. The
Okay.
fresh water available around the earth, 70% is frozen. And out of
Okay.
that 70, out of that 100%, only 1 to 2% is present as a groundwater. That's what we are using. But you know
Okay,
that is
fresh
not
water around the world is only 2%.
right. Only 2%.
And
Right.
70% is frozen.
You're right. 20%.
Okay.
So the Arctic is changing too. Right. The Arctic Sea, the Arctic Sea ice has been reducing about by 2.7% each decade since 1978. So that is also reducing in every 10 years. Many glaciers are also becoming smaller at the rate of 50 meter a year. The volume of water in the sea and oceans of the world will increase as the Antarctic ice melt, causing the sea level to rise and the water become warmer. The volume increases, resulting in the even bigger impact on the sea level. The implications of the human life will rise the level or rise in the sea level are immense. There are around 100 million people who lives less than 1 meter above current sea level. So they will go underwater, right? At sea level. You can see the data on how the various factors interact and sea level. This is the short information about to build the prediction and the models and needed to help us to plan the uncertain future. Got it?
Yes.
The risk of global warming to countries like Republic of Maldives becoming very obvious with the data such as those in the figure number D. These beautiful islands are the uh, flattest country on the earth. The highest point is only 2.5 meter above sea level. It is estimated that only 2100, around 77% of the island mass will be under the water because of the rising of the sea level. This will destroy the human, plant, animal population and population living there. The rising sea level temperature also threaten to kill the coral reefs surrounding the island. These reefs are major source of the global biodiversity, so the whole world will suffer from the loss. Right. Definitely, I was discussing you that Maldives, these West Indies, they all will go under the water if the global warming will keep on going on this space. Even the coastal area of the coastal country like our country, and there are a number of the country like Arabian continent that also have large amount of the coastal area, right? So all those part will go inside the water, right? The coastal area. So 200 to 500 kilometer of the area that will go under the water. In the previous section, you have looked at the evidence for the anthropogenic climate change. This this happening because of why this is happening because of the increase in the level of the greenhouse gases added to the atmosphere by the people around the world. Next, the way we destroy the carbon sinks such as rainforest, right? So in the previous section, you have looked at the evidences for the anthropogenic climate change. Means what is the impact of the humans on the climate change? This is happening because of why it is happening? Increase in the level of greenhouse gases added to the atmosphere by the people around the world. Second, the way we destroy the carbon sinks such as rainforest. So deforestation, basically. You have considered the effect of the change on our climate and the extreme weather events to begin. So think about how those changes might affect the living organism, including the ourselves. Now you will look the sum of these effect of the climate change in more detail. Changes temperature and season that is taking place. Changes in temperature and seasons. The climate change already involve the change in the temperature. In many part of the world, the change will be increase in the temperature. By some place will get colder. The temperature has affected the enzymatic activity, which turn affect the whole organism. That is true. That if the temperature will suppose that today, like in our country, the average temperature is 25 degrees centigrade or 30 degrees centigrade, right? For sake of if the temperature will increase, then what will happen? The some of the enzyme will stop working in the plant and humans and other animals. Now what will happen? Now the biodiversity will reduce. Suppose that if the temperature is 25, say 25, now it is becoming the 20. Then even if the temperature will decrease, then also the adverse effect will take place in plant as well, humans as well as in other organisms. So in the both way, the temperature matters. Uh, the temperature has an effect on the enzyme activity, which turn effect on the organism. You say that 10 degrees centigrade increase in the temperature will double the rate of enzyme controlled reaction. This affect the temperature on the rate of reaction can be expressed in the temperature coefficient Q10. Do you know this fact?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I studied that for my exam.
biomolecule. You will remember that Q10 for every reaction between 0 degrees centigrade and 40 degrees centigrade is 2. This means that 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature 10 produces the doubling of the rate of reaction within the temperature range, whereas the most of the living live. Similarly, decrease in the temperature will slow down the reaction. However, there is optimum temperature. You know, optimum temperature, that is the body temperature on which the enzyme work for every
Yeah,
organ.
yeah.
An optimum temperature for many enzymes control reactions, and if the temperature increases beyond the point, the enzyme will start denature. Why? Because enzymes are made up of protein, and protein start melting or denature after a particular temperature. So if the temperature will increase more, then enzyme will start denaturing, means they will stop working, and the reaction rate falls. As a result, increase in the temperature could have different effect on different effects on the process, including the rate of growth, increasing the rate of growth and reproduction. If plant grow faster, they will they will take they will take up more carbon dioxide and may therefore reduce the atmospheric carbon dioxide level. In other places, Uh, in other places, temperature may exceed the optimum for some enzyme and organism will die. Majority of the plant animal species live in the tropics. The majority of the plant and animal species they lives in the tropics. Many of these species have very little tolerance or the change because of the condition of. So, mean on the tropical area, the majority of the biodiversity is there, and the plant, the weakness or limitation of the plant is that they cannot tolerate too much high and too much low temperature. So you have to underline this line. It's very important. The majority of the plant and animal species live in tropics. Many of these species have a very little tolerance in the change because the condition the tropic are generally very little throughout the year. The temperature remains relatively stable, and so does the day. So does the day length. The main difference in the amount of the rainfall in western season, in the wet season and the dry season. So can you tell me what are the tropical areas? Affaf?
Where there's more heat,
Like, so how you will define
like
the tropical
Kuwait.
area? How you will define the tropical area?
What, sir?
How you will define the tropical area on the earth?
The one around the equator.
Right, right. 23.5 degree north to the equator and to the 23.5 degree south to the equator. Got it? That is called tropical area.
Hmm.
Clear? Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So the main difference is that just so in tropical areas, the temperature tolerance is very limited. The main difference is that is the amount of the rainfall which takes place for there. Many of the plant which provide the human with the staple diet, the food they normally eat, also have an optimal temperature. And if the climate become the warmer or colder, they will not grow as well. Climate change could cause the major problem of the people and other organisms due to the temperature change combined with the change in the rainfall, which bring the drought and many important crop growing regions and devastating flood uh, to others. In higher latitude, the seasonal cycle affect the life cycle. Global warming appears to be affect the beginning of season. The effect of the both life cycle and distribution of the species. Warmer temperature means that the plant grow and the flower earlier. Insect in such moth butterfly become the active in the warmer and the plant food they need for their the caterpillar is available. Some birds can adopt these changes. For example, the breeding cycle of the great tits in Wytham Woods near the Oxford in the UK has moved forward, causes the same temperature changes because the gonad become active at the higher temperature in the birds, right? So temperature not only affect the global warming and all that, it also affect the reproduction phenomenon in some of the animals. It affect the life cycle of some of the animals. It affect the cropping season on plant, right? So it affect lots of the things. Uh, For example, the breeding cycle of the great tits in Wytham Woods near the Oxford in the UK have moved forward, caused by the some temperature changes that mean the winter month larvae that from the main food supply for the baby birds are also present in the leaves. The UK tits lay egg about 2 weeks earlier near they did the 50 years ago, right? So their breeding cycle have become faster. So you can see the coordination between the birds and insect. However, the great tits population in the Netherlands are not doing as well, not doing so well. Their breeding time is becoming earlier every year, but caterpillars are emerging even earlier. So the birds are missing in the peak population and rising few chicks. Breeding earlier in the year may means some animal species can have more than one breeding cycle in each year. So the population will increase. Change in the temperature could also have dramatic effect on the organism. For example, the embryos of some of the reptile are sensitive to temperature during their development. Male crocodiles develop only if eggs are incubated in 32 to 33 degrees centigrade. If the eggs are cooler and cooler or warmer, the females will develop. If global warming, do you have this idea about that the temperature decide either it will be male or female, crocodile and some other
No,
the reptiles? Yes.
no, no, no.
So you can
It's the
note down
first
that
time
part.
I'm hearing that.
Okay, so you can note down that thing that the temperature decides in many of the oviparous animals. The temperature decide that what will be the sex of the any offspring. This is basically for the oviparous animals, right? If the egg are cooler or warmer, females develop. If the global warming means only the female crocodile develop, uh, uh, then it could be end of the species that are surviving virtually unchanged million of years, right? If the temperature will become higher or lower, then only the female formation will take place, male formation will not take place. Then it will imbalance the, or it will remove this species from the world, because either the male will be increased or the female will increase. That is not going to carry on the population. Clear? Now last thing is the rainfall changes. Global warming and its association in the climate change seems to be seems to be altering the pattern of the rainfall across the globe. That's very true. Some countries, including Pakistan, are facing many difficulties. The monsoon rains are becoming heavier at the time and some places. And in recent year, the Pakistan has suffered a number of devastating floods. These floods destroy the millions of the homes, kills thousands of the people, and damage the millions of the acres of the farmland. On other hand, there are also increasing the periods with no rain and some repeated droughts so affect the country, particularly around the Balochistan and Sindh province. The lack of the rain combined with raised temperature has greatly reduced the ability of the people to grow the crops and they need to survive. It's also pushing many plant and animals toward the local extinction. So which part of the Pakistan do you belong to? Affaf?
Punjab.
Punjab. Okay, okay. So it's a Greenland, I think, right?
Yeah.
Countries such as Jordan also affect badly. Uh, Jordan are also badly affected by the changes in the rainfall resulting from the global warming. If nothing is done to reduce the global changes, scientists have estimated that the country will receive 30% less rainfall by the 2100, right? Means 21st century. And the temperature will reduce 4 to 5 degrees centigrade higher now. Uh, uh, Temperature will be, sorry, not reduced. Temperature will be 4 to 5 degree higher than now. Reservoir already dangerously low. The winter's rains have become erratic. This level of the drought means even the well-adapted animals and the plant of the country will struggle. The people will find it almost impossible to grow enough food, right? So that's what is expected due to effect in the rainfall. Now changes in species distribution. That will also change the species distribution because many species will be removed from the ecosystem. Yes, we can do that. So a change in the climate could affect the area which may affect the organism can live. For example, the alpine plant in many mountain parts of the Europe are becoming rare. Most animals can move more easily than plants so that they can often survive the change and more easily. Thus, the areas become warmer. Some animals may also be able to extend their ranges uh, northwards while becoming the extend the southern end. Others may be able to colonize the bigger area. In a study by Permission at all in 1990, when this is the person who I have studied, 1999, of 35 species non-migratory European butterflies ranges, 63% of the species have shifted northwards by between 35 to 240 kilometer past 100 years. Means they have shifted their area, right? Northern tip, and only 3% species have shifted the south. The shift in the butterfly population is paralleled 0.8 degrees centigrade warming over the Europe during the time. Like Europe become warmer, so that some of the like 70-80% species they have shifted, 63% species shifted toward the northern side, 3% southern side. The rest remained over there. If organisms involved in the spread of the disease are affected, patterns of the world health could also change as well. The World Health Organization (WHO) has warned that the global warming could be responsible for the major increase in the insect-borne disease in areas such as Britain and Europe. The prediction is that by 21st, the condition could be ideal for the disease-carrying organism which mosquito, ticks, rats, and many new areas of the world. The WHO has predicted where the malaria will have spread by 2050. If the global warming and the climate change continue at the current rate, the WHO is using the country to make plans to prevent preventive measures can be implemented in the climate change. Means this is the climate change is also responsible for the disease as well, right? So there are some important points. And the next class we'll start the, please note it down, we'll start the 5C, climate change and evolution. What is left? What else is left in this chapter? What can be done? Only a very small portion is left over there.
Yeah, so should I send 6A?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I was going through my textbook and
Sorry.
I was going through my textbook and oh, I'm doubtful. Will we be able to finish everything in time?
Like how many chapters are left over there, and what is the time we have?
We have to finish before April because I have to
Yeah,
revise for 1 month.
we'll do it anyhow. No issue. How many chapters are over there?
There's topic 6, 7, and 8.
6, 7, and 8. And
Yeah.
these are the units 6, 7, 8. 6, 7,
Yeah.
8.
Well, Unit 4 has topic 5 and 6. Unit 5 has topic 7 and 8, and Unit 6 is practical.
So approximately there are 12 topics, 12 chapters.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do that. No issue. We'll do. We'll
Okay.
finish it. Even we'll finish before the like. I think we'll finish it by February only. I don't think so that we need March as well. That's,
Hopefully,
yeah, we'll do that.
because I have to study the AS part, Unit 1, 2, 3 as well. Because I went through my past papers, and there
Okay.
are questions from Unit 1, 2, 3.
So there are more chapters. Do you want to like study 1, 2, 3
No,
as
no,
well?
no, no, no.
Hmm.
No, I remember it. I have to revise it.
Okay. No issue. No issue. Uh, this ecology part is a bit lengthy, and it's a very monotonous kind of the part.
Yeah,
Remember the photosynthesis? How quickly we did it in
yeah,
2 classes or 2.5 class, right? Do you remember that?
yeah, yeah.
So those chapters which are like biotechnology, it won't take too much time, right?
Mhm.
It's interesting and the pace will be more, right? Because there is
Okay.
not much more to like read out like this way, right? What
Yeah.
is given over there? It is very unusual kind of the things are incorporated in your ecology. Even the ecology which I teach over here in India for medical and for other 11, 12 classes. So the chapters given over there, they are not that much database or based or that much experiment or study based, example based. They are very basically different from the yours one, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
why it's consuming very much time and it's very exhaustive as well, right?
Yeah, it
So
is.
the process based or the like physiology based the part and the uh, tech part of that biology will do it quickly. The pace will become faster than this one. We'll
Mm-hmm.
definitely do that. Yeah, hopefully, I will finish by the Feb last. I don't think so that it will cross March even, right?
Sir, if you don't mind me asking, how weak are your eyes?
How
Weak are your eyes?
my eyes, it's not too much, but I have like my specs number is minus 1.25. It's not too much.
Oh,
Right. And
what?
another
Mine
one,
is. I have astigmatism in my right eye, and it's -3.
so like in the left eye, this is minus 0.75 only. But when I spend much more time in front of a screen,
Uh-huh.
so they just I feel a bit irritating and it's the watery eyes. So
Uh-huh.
because I